via Zoom, which we have no objection to, for a purpose of arraignment on a number of charges listed in the complaint.
All right, sir, your name for the record, please.
Hey, how you doing, Your Honor? My name is Devontae Carter.
All right, fine, thank you. And Joe, did he fill out the court-appointed form?
Not yet. We'll get it to you as soon as I can.
Okay, no worries. I just want to make sure I didn't miss it. All right, I'm sorry, counsel. As to the arraignment.
Your Honor, first, I wanted to clarify something. When I reviewed the complaint, there's count 1, count 2, there is no count 3, but then proceeds to be count 4 and 5, which appear to be both felony firearm. And we wanted to know if those were in fact 2 counts of felony firearm and why the defective numbering and count 5 and 6.
Okay, so there are a total of 5 counts. The defective number appears to be from the typist of the Wayne County Prosecutor's Office. Count 1 is stolen property, receiving and concealing motor vehicle. Count 2 is fleeing and eluding police officer, 3rd degree. And count 3, and the numbering system is skipped. It appears to be a clerical error. So then count 4 and 5 are felony firearms, and that's 2. That's because there's a receiving, concealing, and then the fleeing and eluding. So then there's 2 felony firearms. And then there's a count 5, a 5th count, I should say, which is count 6, resisting and obstructing a police officer. That's at the one line at the very bottom of the first page and the top of the second page. So there are a total of 5 counts, even though it says there's a count 6, there's all 5 counts. Count 3 was missed.
I understand, Your Honor. So 2 counts of felony firearm was my client's, one of his main questions. Do you understand that now, Mr. Carter, in addition to what we talked about?
No, I do not, sir.
What, well.
Okay, counsel, let me just do this. I'll just read the charges. How's that?
All right, we were prepared to waive formal reading, but it would be better if he understands fully, Your Honor, of course.
Okay, the court will state that on November 1st of this year, in the area of Biddle Avenue in Wyandotte, Michigan, there's a count 1, stolen property, receiving, concealing motor vehicle, where it's alleged the defendant did buy, receive, possess, conceal, or aid in the concealment of black Chrysler 300, a stolen motor vehicle, knowing or having reason to know or reason to believe that the motor vehicle was stolen, embezzled, or converted. Contrary to MCL 750.535(7). This is a felony charge. Maximum penalty upon convictions not more than 5 years in state prison and or a $10,000 fine or 3 times the value of the motor vehicle, whichever is greater. Count 2, fleeing a police officer, 3rd degree. It's alleged on the same time or same date and location, the defendant being the driver of a motor vehicle to whom was given a visual or audible signal by hand, voice, emergency light, or siren by Adam Grote, a police officer who was in full uniform, and the officer's vehicle was identified as an official police vehicle, acting in the lawful performance of his duty, directing the defendant to bring his motor vehicle to a stop, did willfully fail to obey that direction by attempting to flee or elude the officer, and the violation resulted in a collision or an accident, and in an area where the speed limit was 35 miles per hour or less. Contrary to MCL 257.602A(3). This is also a felony charge. The maximum penalty upon convictions not more than 5 years in state prison and or a $1,000 fine. Secretary of State shall suspend your license for 1 year. This is the 3rd count, but it's numbered count 4. Weapons, felony firearm. You did have or carry in your possession a firearm where it's alleged that on the same date and location this occurred. A handgun at the time he committed or attempted to commit a felony. That felony being receiving, concealing motor vehicle. This is a felony charge. It's a 2 years consecutively with and preceding any term of imprisonment imposed for the felony or attempted felony conviction. Mandatory forfeiture of weapon or device. Count 5, which is the 4th count, but it says count 5. Weapons, felony firearm alleged on the same date and location. You did carry or have in your possession a firearm, that being a handgun, at the time you committed or attempted to commit a felony. That felony being fleeing and eluding 3rd offense. This is also a felony charge. The maximum penalty is 2 years conviction with and preceding any term of imprisonment imposed for the felony or attempted felony conviction. Mandatory forfeiture of the weapon or device. And it says count 6, but it's the 5th count. Police officer assaulting, resisting, obstructing. It's alleged on the same date and location that you did assault, batter, wound, resist, obstruct, oppose, or endanger Adam Grote, a police officer for the city of Wyandotte, in the Wyandotte Police Department that the defendant knew or had reason to know is performing his duties contrary to MCL 750.81D(1). This is also a felony charge, sir. The maximum penalty upon conviction is 2 years in state prison and or a $2,000 fine. Do you understand all of your charges?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, counsel, just so you know, there are multiple typographical errors or misletters and spelling, so I'm confident that it was just a clerical typographical error with the numbering system. And so the court will also enter a plea of not guilty on your behalf. Sir, you have the right to have an attorney. If you cannot afford one, the court will appoint one to represent you. And you had an opportunity to speak to an attorney today, correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
And you understand you have the right to be presumed innocent until proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. You have the right to have a trial by a judge or by a jury. You also have the right to remain silent. Anything you say orally or in writing may be used against you in court. Do you understand those rights?
Yes, Your Honor.
I've already entered a plea of not guilty on your behalf. I'm scheduling this matter for a probable cause conference on November 9th at 8:40 a.m. And counsel as to bond.
Your Honor, after speaking to my client, he did say he wants to apply for court-appointed counsel, but he may, in fact, hire his own attorney if he can raise the funds. Your Honor, my client is presently lives with a significant other and one minor daughter, aged 2 years old. He lives with his sister, but he does support a daughter that is with the daughter's mother. And Your Honor, the court will notice that my client is not working. He recently lost his job, and his financial condition is not good. He is presently on HIDA status probation. His court, in examining his criminal history, he is presently on HIDA, has not been able to speak to his probation officer in that matter yet. I've advised him to do so and to contact the attorney that represented him on that matter. So my client understands the possibility that these cases would have on his HIDA status. Your Honor, he's told me that he's never failed to appear in court before. He has a valid Detroit address with his sister. We'd ask the court to consider a bond he can reasonably expect to post, Your Honor. And at this time, we leave it in the court's discretion. Thank you.
And what are you currently on HIDA status for, sir?
So it was for a 3rd-degree arson. I was with somebody committing the crime. I was the only person that got caught.
How long have you been on HIDA status and probation, sir?
For about a year now. It was almost done. I had 2 years of probation.
It also appears as though you were on HIDA status for felony receiving, concealing stolen property, correct?
Correct, yes.
So 2, you're on HIDA status for 2. And also 4th degree arson, correct?
Yes, correct. I thought it was 3rd degree. I'm sorry.
No, 3rd and 4th. You have 3rd degree and a 4th degree.
Correct, Your Honor.
And why aren't you working, sir?
I didn't hear
Why
you.
aren't you working? Why aren't you working?
I lost my job like a month and a half ago. I was late to my orientation. I used to ride the bike to work, and I was an hour late, and the job was so strict, they wouldn't allow me. So I recently, it's an app called Variable, where you could just book a shift, go to the shift, and clock out, and they pay you daily. So I was doing that day to day.
Okay. And how long did you work there, sir?
I say for about like a week max before I got all the way in. Before that,
So when was the last time you had a job before that?
the last time I worked the job was like a week ago, week and a half ago, but it was on Variable. Variable is an app that you download on your phone, and they got jobs all across the city on it. Very.
Okay, I didn't understand anything you just said, sir.
Said
A
what
week and a
again?
half ago? I didn't understand anything you said after you said a week and a half ago is when you last worked.
The last time I worked the job was like a week and a half ago, Your Honor.
And where was that? I didn't understand what you said.
It was through the variable app.
Through the what?
Through the variable app in Detroit. Variable. VERYABLE.
Oh, very able. Okay, is that our temp service, sir?
I mean, it's like a job app on your phone. Yes, it is like a temp service app. Yeah.
Okay.
They pay
Okay.
you same day when you clock out.
Okay. All right, and Detective Sabo, your name for the record, please.
Detective Steve Sable, Your Honor. And
All right, thank you.
thank you. And since Mr. Serrano mentioned about the HIDA and it's kind of expanded or expounded on with the court, the weapons offenses and receiving and concealing, I don't think that it's unreasonable due to the incident and the severity of it that Mr. Carter is a danger to society. And he's had many opportunities on his probation, et cetera, to stay straight. This is a pretty serious offense. So we're asking $100,000, 10%, GPS tether, no drugs or alcohol not prescribed, and certainly no weapons. Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. The court will note after hearing from Mr. Serrano, hearing from Mr. Carter, hearing from Detective Sabo, reviewing the criminal history, and noting that there are multiple charges of Mr. Carter that are similar in nature to the current charge he's facing, and the fact that Mr. Carter is currently on probation for 3 charges, one of which is the exact same charge that he is being charged with here today. The court, and given the nature of the allegations, the court does find that Mr. Carter is a danger to society, as well as the fact that he has a hard time complying with court orders. And I don't believe that he would necessarily comply with the court orders. Hopefully, a monetary incentive of $100,000, 10%, would be helpful to Mr. Carter. In the event bond is posted, GPS tether through the Wayne County Jail, house arrest, that way we can be sure you're not driving because you don't have a valid license anyway, it appears. No driving in the event you think that you're going to. No alcohol or drugs unless prescribed, and no weapons. Do you have any weapons in your home, sir?
Oh, Your Honor.
I'm sorry?
Oh, Your Honor.
Did you say no?
Oh.
Okay. All right, anything else?
I have nothing further, Your Honor.
No,
All right,
Judge, thank you.
November 9th, and the court will sign the order for court appointed attorney. All right, so don't go anywhere, Joe, with that remote, because Detective Carr is right behind you for the PPO violation here. All right, thank you. I don't,
Thank you, Your Honor.
Oh, thank you, Judge.